Hey Playas, how you doing? Welcome back to Playas Guide. This episode of Playas Guide is November's retro gaming news. If you are new to Playas Guide and you don't already know about Playas Guide's community on Discord, consider joining it. There's a lot of gaming news, not just retro gaming, but gaming in general, news posted on the Discord. And if you feel like there's something I missed in this video, feel free to comment below. But also, if you're in part of the Discord, there is a section there for you to post about different things going on in the video game world. A 9.2 graded by WATA Games copy of Super Mario Bros. 3. It's a sealed copy in pristine condition, and it sold for $156,000 US on Heritage Auctions. Now, this is the most any video game has ever sold for on open market as far as public figures are known. There was also recently a Pokemon Red, I believe, that sold for just over 80,000, which was also relatively high. So what we're seeing in the collecting market is the trend towards sealed and graded games is growing. How big it will grow is really hard to tell, at this point, because it's so early on in this trend. People have been grading and buying games for a while. For years now. They used to go through VGA. Now things with WATA and Heritage Auctions have really ramped up the demand and popularity in sealed and graded game collecting. So I'm sure we'll see more of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Super Mario Bros. 3 sell for even more than that next year. Retro USB has released the 8-bit Xmas 2020 edition. So if you're not familiar with this cartridge, it lights up, it plays Christmas music, and this year it plays a version of, not a version of, but a game similar to Dr. Mario. You play as Dr. Covidio, I believe the name is, or something along those lines. So if you're a fan of puzzle games or Dr. Mario, be sure to pick this one up because you're going to like this game. And also check out some of the other 8-bit Xmas games that are available on their site, because I think they have a few from the past years that I've talked about in some of the homebrew videos. I'll put a link to some of the homebrew videos up there. I got a new one coming out soon, so subscribe to the channel if you're a fan of homebrews. Speaking of homebrews, MorphCat Games came out with a game called Bobble. I'm not exactly sure because MorphCat Games is a European company, and I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. It might be just Bubble in English, because you play as a bubble, and it's sort of like a platforming game. You float around and bounce around as a bubble, avoiding different objects that you don't want to touch because you're a bubble and you'll pop. But I believe this game is free. From what I understand, you could download the ROM for free right to your Power Pack and play it on your NES. Just go over to the MorphCat Games website. Now, another game that just got released is Swords and Ruins 3. That's available from Soul Goose Productions. This can be purchased in a physical cartridge. There's also a limited edition cartridge available on the Soul Goose Productions website. So if you're looking for homebrews, there's a bunch out there right now, new ones for you to check out and play. Now, this was not so much retro, but if you're familiar with Playas Guide and how we roll, we are fans of Friday the 13th. Now, there's a Friday the 13th killer puzzle game out. Maybe you've played this game on PC. I know it was on Steam for a while, and it was free up until a certain point. You have to purchase levels. But now you can buy the full game on the PlayStation Store. So that game is available on PlayStation. I'm just throwing it out there because if you're a fan of Friday the 13th, like I am, and a lot of the other people in our community, you might be interested in this one. Sharon the Wanderer. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not too familiar with this franchise, But this game is getting a physical release. It's getting released on the Switch, but it's also getting a physical release this December. So this is a game that sort of looks a little bit like along the styles of like a Chrono Trigger or a Super Nintendo RPG. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, I've got some clips here for you that you could see for yourself. Check that one out. It is getting a physical release. Speaking of physical releases, Limited Run Games recently bought an IP for a retro game on the NES, but they haven't announced what it is. What has been announced is that Strictly Limited Games will be releasing a canceled game, Clockwork Aquario. This game was canceled back in 1992. It's a very colorful, side-scrolling platformer. I got a little bit of footage here for you to check out. Our friends at MegaCat Studios have just announced a zombie Hockey League game that will be coming to the NES. Now, it's still in early development, but you can be sure Playas Guide will bring you the latest updates on this game. MegaCat Studios will also soon be releasing for your Sega Genesis, for the 16-bit fans, on the Switch as well, Lethal Wedding. This game sort of plays like Zombies Ate My Neighbors. There will be another retro gaming news at the end of December. I will be doing these every month now. Again, things are starting to pick up, but they won't be quite as long as the doubled up months of episodes that I was previously doing. Playas Guide would like to be your source for retro gaming, so if you're interested in retro gaming collecting and the news around the retro gaming community, then subscribe to Playas Guide on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to check out Playas Guide on Twitch. There are several other streamers on the channel that I think you would enjoy watching. That's it for this episode of Playas Guide. Stay retro. Later, players.